What's up, guys? It's your boy, not Satan, your 69th favorite Korean immersion learning YouTuber, right? And today, that's right, guys, 14-month update. Now, I know what everyone's gonna say. Okay, I know what everyone's gonna say. Haha, 420, right? It's the weed number, right? But let me say something, okay? I, not Satan, will never compromise my morals.
Hey, peace offs. Michael here.
For some dumb joke some 14-year-old is gonna make for his friggin' for his Call of Duty montage, okay? I would never compromise my morals for that. Anyways, so this was an interesting month, so let's look at the stats first. So for this month, I only had 38 hours of active, 91 hours of reading, 140 cards made for Anki, 9 hours on the SRS, 98 hours of passive listening, and 0 grammar. So that brings my monthly total to 236, right? 236. So that means my all-time total is 1,113 hours of active, 475 hours of reading, 8,075 cards, 290 hours on the SRS, 539 passive hours, 24 grammar hours. So total 2441. All right, so almost 2,500, right? It's pretty good. Anyways, what do I think about this month? Actually, I think this month was something special because I don't really think that this month was anything more than just an experiment. So this month was all about how much could I read? What happens if I read a lot? So as you can tell, right, 91 hours of reading, right? It's a pretty ridiculous number, but we have to be honest with ourselves, right? It was not without its sacrifices. As you can tell, my active, right, is at 38, right? So that means pretty much around an hour a day, right? An hour a day, a bit more on the weekends. That is very low. So as you can tell, I sacrificed a lot to read, okay? And so I decided, I said last month I'm gonna try reading 3 hours a day. I said it and I did it. So okay, I read a total of 91. That means 3 hours a day. But the thing is, all right, so I have to be very transparent here, right? I'm not gonna say, oh, it was all fun and games, it was so easy, right? Of course it wasn't, okay? Because you see, I wake up at 5:55 in the morning, right? I wake up 5:55 in the morning. I wake up, I brush my teeth, I do a little bit of meditation, and then I do my Anki, right? Then from about 6:45 all the way to 9 o'clock, I'm reading, okay? That is an insane amount of time to do in the morning, okay? Yeah, and of course after 9 I have to go to work and everything, but then that is a ridiculous amount of time to read. Like, can you imagine? Okay, but that's not the worst bit, okay? Because the 2 hours, I think that 2 hours in the morning is still pretty manageable, okay? Now what's worse is, okay, after a whole day of work, right? Well, I mean, I call it work. But to us, I'm not doing much anyways. I still have to learn some some programming. All right, and that obviously if you're in the game, if there's some random bug that you're trying to fix, it could take you a whole hour to fix something really small. All right, if you're a noob like me, so you're going through that. And then you still have to read more. Come on, right? And what's worse is, like, I love the I love K-pop content, right? And you're telling me to read, I have to sacrifice what I love doing to read. Like, of course, it's gonna make you better and everything, but I'm sacrificing what I initially set out to do. Right, and it hurts me. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts me. because sometimes, um, I mean, what happened was I thought I was being productive by choosing only the most exciting content to watch, the most funniest content to watch. Everything else I threw away into my passive listening reading. So I was like, oh, if I do that, I'll have more time to read, right? So that's what I thought at first. But then the more I went through it, the more I realized I was it wasn't really sustainable, and I wasn't really sort of making time, right? I was choosing what I thought was more important. Now of course, reading is fun-ish, I guess, but if you look at it on one on one, I'd pick the content every time, right? There's just no question about it. It's just so much more interesting. And in terms of the intrinsic motivation side of things, I'd 100% just binge watch that content. But obviously, after all reading all these books, I know I should be doing that because it's not good for my brain. Um, but I think everyone knows that I've done like all areas all I've done everything that could be done in terms of the extremes, right? I've done 50 cards a day. I've tried doing 50 cards a day of Anki. That was not a good idea. And now I've read 3 hours a day for a month, and I know now it is a good idea. Now let's not don't get me wrong, it is a good idea, right? But what I've learned is you only have 24 hours. Everyone has 24 hours in a day, right? And 3 hours. Let me do the math real quick. 3 hours is like what, 15% of your day? Like, that's a lot of time if you think about it, right? If sleep is like 30%, right? Sleep is like 30%, 33%. So you add your sleep and 3 hours of reading, that's half your day gone already, right? So it's not that now, and so obviously, um, it's tough for me to balance all these things because I'm doing my internship, and then I'm trying to learn programming on the side, and then you want me to read. Like, there's no way I can fit all these activities in one day and have any meaningful outcome, like in terms of the proportion of time, if you get what I mean. So obviously something's got to go. So moving forward, reading has got to go. Now I'm not getting rid of it completely, but here's what I think. Okay, here's what I learned. What In the morning, right, from that time after I do my Anki and before I have to make my coffee, um, that 2 hours ish is great time for reading because it's quiet, it's uninterrupted. I don't really feel like there's anything that I have to do, right? Because I don't check my YouTube subscriptions until the evening, and so I don't have any. So it feels fine. But then once it once the evening comes, I'm like, wait a minute, I've done all this throughout the day. Why can't I? Why do I still have to read? So what happens is, um, moving forward, I think, you know what, in terms of what's best for long-term sustainability, I'm not gonna read that extra hour because of course, that extra hour of reading, if you look at it over the course of a year, that's 365 extra hours, right? 365 extra hours, but um, and obviously it's gonna do much more, for you than just watching content, right? But if we look at in terms of sustainability, can you really read 3 hours a day for who knows how long, right? Now, even 2 hours a day, I think is crazy. But I think it's still manageable for my current situation. But 3 hours a day, that extra hour, um, you know, I don't, I, in terms of what I don't think it's sustainable, right? I know someone out there is gonna say, oh, but I love reading. It's my escape. It's a fantasy world, something like that. Like, okay, good for you, right? But for most of us, I still want to watch I still want to watch YouTube. Okay. Um, and so I think moving forward, I'm just gonna watch that content. Let's be honest. Now, the good thing is, if I finish watching the content, I'll just read. Okay, so that sounds like a great idea, honestly. If you finish it, just read. But I found that now, for some reason, the past few days, there's just been so much content. There's just been so much content to watch. So who knows how much I'll read next month. But I think I should be able to get around 60 hours total next month, so around 2 hours a day. Because it's definitely doable. I'm at home, right? What the hell am I gonna do, right? So there you go. But I think if I can find a good book, I'll probably read a bit more. But I just haven't found that book, right? So Classroom of the Elite, I talked about this before. The first two were okay, right? But then the third book came around, and all of a sudden they're on an island. Like, okay, like I think, you know what, you had a good run. Maybe it's time to leave it, right? So I'm leaving it. I left it alone. I might talk about this a bit more in my book review video, which I'm planning to do. So I'm planning to do it soon. But I think this is obviously a bit more important, right? So moving forward, I think I'm just gonna stick to nonfiction, right? So I know everyone's gonna say fiction is how you learn the language and everything. That's it's they say there's more variety more the way to describe things. It's good for you. But the way I see it, you know what? Do I really need all this flowery language, right? Do I really need it? I might not, right? I might not. But let's be honest. What's going to get me closer to fully understanding that content? Fiction, maybe, right? But is nonfiction going to take me away from that goal? Not necessarily. Now, the thing is, but with nonfiction, not only am I getting closer to my goal, I'm actually learning something too. I'm learning something in the process, right? Because if I went all for fiction only, I would have never read books like The Shallow, right? Which I think is a life-changing book. About internet use. So if anyone, that's 100% a book that I recommend for everyone. The Shallows. About it's about the internet and everything. But anyways, so I think moving forward, I'm sticking with my nonfiction. Because I think I'm reading 2 hours a day is so a lot. Like that's like 10% of the day. If you're reading 10% per day, you might as well be learning something from it, right? Okay, so yeah, that's about it for reading, which I think was probably the highlight of this month, right? So who knows what will happen next? Now I think I miscalculated my Anki cards, so it seems a bit off. So okay, so but I'm just doing like 5 cards a day, so that's fun. And I think one more thing, which I think was really interesting, was how much passive I was doing. As you can tell from the stats, in 98 hours, that's almost 100, right? 100. That's a lot, okay? Like, let's put that into perspective, right? That's a lot of hours, alright? 98 hours, that's like what? 4 whole days? 5 whole days? It's like 4 to 5 whole days of the month just gone, okay? Now, I know if my boss is listening to this, I'm sorry, right? But the thing is, okay, I'm gonna be sitting in my chair doing something, and it doesn't really require that much mental effort. So I was like, you know what, might as well do passive listening, right? So passive. I'm not sure how much good it does for me, but that's who knows? Might as well do it, right? Input is input. So yeah. So I guess that's a pretty interesting conclusion for this month, stats wise. So moving forward, I think in terms of my plan for next month, so as I said, I'm not gonna read that much. But by not much, I mean it's still a lot. Like, let's be honest, 2 hours is a stupid amount of time to read. So okay, so just 2 hours of reading. I'm gonna watch as much content as I can. But I think one of the things I want to do is I have to watch with intent. I have to watch being present, right? So in meditation, people always talk about it's all about being present. It's all about being aware, right? But the thing is, I realized that when I watched content previously, I'm always on my phone checking something, right? So now that I've deleted social media, I've basically reduced my phone to nothing. I've got to practice watching with intent, right? And once I can like have that really laser sharp focus into, when I'm watching YouTube, then that could be a game changer. But I think, yeah, in terms of the content wise, I'm just sticking with my usual, just my subscriptions. The stuff that pop up in my subscription box. That's about it. Yeah. Reading, I'm just sticking to nonfiction, as I said, because you know what, fiction maybe there's like some fantastic works of literature out there in Korean that I'll probably read in the future, but not now, in the future, but not now. So I think, okay, but then in terms of the mentality going forward, I think there's a big change in my mentality is that I started taking this programming thing pretty seriously, this coding thing pretty seriously, like a couple days ago. Well, not a couple days ago actually, like what, 26 days ago, because you know how Anki has that streak, right? I found out that GitHub has a streak too, so I've just been committing my the exercises that I do for the program that I'm following. So let's see, my first commit was 27 July. That's a bit. Wait, what? June. Sorry, my first commit was. Wait, no, that's not right. Wait, hold up. So my first commit, right, was 27th of July. So I'm sorry, my first commit was 27th of June. So it's pretty much been a month, right? It's 27 days. So so far I've kept my streak alive. I've been doing at least one commit per day. But the thing is, you know what? Honestly, this is gonna take up a lot more time. But I mean, thank God I can still do passive listening while I'm coding. That's not too big of a deal. But I mean, that's one more thing that because I feel that, you know what, I really want to pursue this as a career. Gotta give a shout out to my boy, my mentor, my sensei, my Jedi master, my boy Joe. If you're out there, I appreciate the help, fam. He's the one who's been, I forgot what it was, but he basically convinced me. He just convinced me to try it, and I was like, yeah. So sorry about the quick interruption, but yeah, I feel that, you know what, I think this would probably be a full-time career choice for me, because I find it, you know what, I've been doing this course and I find it fun, so I thought, you know what, might as well do it. If you enjoy it, might as well do it for a living, right? Because it feels that you can actually do something. Because I know that sounds dumb, but it's a lot better than I don't know. It's a lot better than being working in business development or marketing, right? Marketing is but yeah, that sort of thing. But yeah, so if I'm doing that, then I obviously can't immerse that much, right? So I think evenings wise, yeah, I mean, it's like my time off, right? So evening wise, yeah. But if I had to choose, now the thing is, it's all about sacrifices, right? The book, the Subtle Art of How Not to Give a Fuck. I think the best advice I got from that book is you gotta choose what to give a fuck about. And so you realize that it's all about your values, or it's all about what you see, your vision. And the way I see it, you know what? Because I've been watching some of these, because AChat, the MIA Japanese community was around for a lot longer, in terms of content creators, right? So I've actually been able to see people who've been doing Japanese for a long time, and it feels like everyone says it's gonna take a while, right? So, but it's not difficult. It just takes a while. So I think that's the same with Korean, right? It's super easy. Let's be honest, it's not difficult. Okay, how difficult can it be? You don't even need to memorize kanji, right? No kanji, that's like a huge bonus, right? So you don't have to memorize kanji, right? You're just basically just reading stuff. It's so easy now, but the thing is, just because it's easy, the caveat is just because it's easy doesn't mean it's fast, right? You can walk a marathon in 8 hours, and you can, and not break a sweat, right? But you could, but running a sub 2 hour marathon, it would kill you. Okay, it would kill you to run a sub 2 hour marathon, right? So the distance is the same, but the effort is different, right? So I think it's the same for Korean. It's super easy. It just takes a while. That's all, right? It's like you could literally just lie in your bed. But the thing is, can you do it for 3 years, right? That's a question. So I think it's probably a good idea for me to take a step back and view, not just the micro, but look at the macro, right? So I'm talking not just about the sort of what's happening this year, but I'm talking about what's happening in 10 years, right? Because I already gave up on a lot of my dreams. I thought one of my dreams when I was younger was, well, not younger, up around now, is that I wanted to fight in MMA, not as a pro, but amateur bouts. But I'm slowly realizing that that dream might not be very feasible in the long run. So I don't know. So I don't know if I can still do it. So I kind of gave up on that dream. I thought about doing triathlons, but then I realized that, like, let's be honest, I can't really afford the bikes. That's a dumb excuse, but you know what? Yeah, I can. It just takes too much time. Right? It's all about what you care about. So I think as of now, it's very difficult for me to say that I'm either one or the other. But as of now, I think looking at the current 10-year plan, I've just got a not even 10-year plan, like 5-year plan, like from 2020 to 2025, which we're pretty much 2 years into, right? So I feel right now I gotta focus like crazy on being, I'm trying to get that software engineer job, right? Get that dev job, right? Because I feel that in the long term, that's gonna open up a lot of doors for me. But fuck yeah, yeah. But I mean, okay, let's be honest. Oh, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. Okay, anyways, so yeah, I think that's probably what I've got to focus on first, right? So you know what? I realize that I'm already immersing a lot more than other people, right? Because simply due to my circumstances, I have the freedom to immerse for a lot more time, because in the weekly Discord, Discord for dailies, that I set out for learning Korean. Currently we have 3 active members, including me, but they're busy people, and they literally don't have the time to immerse, right? Because one of them, he's got to work 8 to 4, and then he has to go to school 6 to 10, right? So he obviously doesn't have that much time to immerse, right? My boy, if you're listening, shout out to my boy Nura. So obviously I don't have that much time. I have a lot more time than that, right? Because I'm literally sitting on my ass all day, so I have so much more time. But then I don't know what it'll look like when I go back to college, right? So who knows? But you know what? Yeah, I think that's a nice way to wrap the video about my goals and future. But anyways, everyone, as always, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, keep immersing.